Welcome to Mishnah study Masechet Shabbat Perek Kafim Gimel Mishnah. Here, over here in this Mishnah, we're going to speak about more of the funeral preparations on Shabbat. So, Osin Kol Tzorcha Amet, you'll do everything for the dead. Sachin umadechin oto, you'll smear, anoint him with oil. Umadechin oto, rinse him with water. As long as you don't move a limb, right? A dead person is muktzeh, right? So if you're moving a limb, that could be an issue. So you see from here, by the way, an important principle, and that is you're allowed to touch muktzeh, right? You could smear oil on him, but you're not allowed to move muktzeh, right? You're not allowed to move a limb. Yeah, that's an important principle. Part of this muktzeh, nothing wrong with touching the muktzeh, but you're not allowed to move the muktzeh. Right, we learned that from our Mishnah. You go ahead and pull out the pillow, right, or the clothing from underneath him. Right, and you could place him on the dirt, right, on the sand, meaning it's cooler than having to be on the clothing, right, so the body won't decompose as fast. Now, if we mention, you're allowed to go ahead and place him on the dirt. How are you doing so? We just said you're not allowed to move him. Right? So the way Harambam explains this is you remove right? You remove the clothing from underneath him, and he ends up being set on the sand. Right? You're not moving him onto the sand, rather you're just pulling out the clothing from underneath him, and he ends up laying in the same spot on the sand. Right? So you could wait there. Right? You're allowed to go ahead and tie his jawbone, right? So the jaw would, with time, the jaw just keeps on opening more and more, right? So you don't want it to, to keep on opening. So you're allowed to tie it, lo shi'aleh, yosif. You can't tie it to close the mouth, right, back up, but you are allowed to go ahead and tie it in a spot, so it doesn't keep on opening further. Also a beam, if you had a beam on the roof that broke, right, now that beam started to hang down. You go ahead and take a bench, take a chair, right? Or you take a bedpost, and you just push it underneath that beam to hold that beam in its place. Again, so the beam doesn't fall further down. Again, you can't lift it back up because it's muktzeh. But if you just hold it in place so it doesn't break more, that's allowed. And me'ametzin tamid b'Shabbat, right? Rambam's going to say the aleph now with an ayin, right? And me'ametzin, you can close the eyes of the dead person on Shabbat, right? So they go ahead and they would just shut the eyelids of the dead on in general, right? It's just something that they would do. So you can't go ahead and do that on Shabbat. Nor on a weekday while he's passing away, right? We learned this is an important law in general. Anyone who even closes the eyelid of a person as he's passing away, it's he's mamash, he's killing the person, right? Because if he's bringing upon the person's death any faster by a split second, just by closing the person's eye, right? That's considered murder, right? You're not allowed to go ahead and bring upon a person's death any quicker. In general, in Judaism, this is a very important law, and a lot of laws that surround it, a lot of end-of-life questions. But we see from here an important principle that bringing on a person touching someone while he's passing away that could potentially bring upon his death faster is an issue of shofech damim and something to be careful about.